National Park Nighthawk basketball is on the Nighthawk Network, your official home for Nighthawk athletics this season. The Nighthawk assistant coach for the men and the women this year, Mr. Reggie Rogers. Coach, welcome to Nighthawk Nation. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a member of Nighthawk Nation.
First off, I would like to say thank you to Nighthawk Nation for just welcoming me with open arms. It's been a blessing just being able to work with both the men and the women. I'm actually from Sweet Home, Arkansas, so Hot Springs isn't very ill-familiar to me. I actually used to come here a lot when I was a kid, but I went to high school at Mills High School, which is in Little Rock, and from there I went to Central Baptist College for 2 years where I redshirted my first year, and then from there I transferred to Chatham University, which was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. At Chatham, I ran track and I played basketball. Running track, I actually held 4 school records, which was the high jump, the long jump, the 100 and the 200. But from there, I went to the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford, and that's where I finished up. I played my last 2 years there. My senior year, I led the team in minutes played. I played 35 minutes a game. I led them in points, assists. I think I was second in steals and second in rebounds on our team. But from there, I actually aspired to play pro basketball for a year or so, maybe a summer actually. And injuries got in the way of that. And then I began to volunteer coach at my old high school, Mills High School. And then from there, I partnered with Grinding Advance, which is a platform out of Little Rock, Arkansas. What they do is we try to mentor kids on and off the court while giving them the exposure with media, interviews like this one. We did personal training, skill development, performance development, all kinds of things. And from that opportunity came another opportunity, which is my first actual college coaching job at West Virginia University, Potomac State. It's a junior college, just like this one. And then from there, I came here.
It's been a long journey to get to where you are today, and we're glad you walked in the doors here at National Park College. And this season has been a year to remember, not only for the women, but for the men as well. But let's talk about the women first. Coach Dominique Battles comes in. We asked a lot of these student athletes this year. They changed coaches right before the season came in. And of course, you coming in as well, you're a new face. And they had a lot of new leadership really quickly. They had a lot of new faces that came in, a few returners. But, in a lot of ways, this is a very new program this year. And we saw a lot of new things that we'd never seen before in this program. Winning streaks and records falling. We're coming off of our first postseason win in program history. These young women have worked exceptionally hard to get to where they are today, and it's with the help of the leadership that we've had so far this year. And what has been the story of the success for this year's team? What is it behind the scenes that has made this team one of the best we've ever seen in Nighthawk history?
One person I would have to give the most credit to is Coach Battles. When he first came in, one of the things that he tried to instill into the women were that we was going to win. And from my experience, that's the first part of it. Like, you got to believe that you're going to win before you actually win. And then from the belief comes the work. And then you have to believe in the work. And that's also the same thing that I try to get the women to understand. I know at the beginning of the year, I asked them what their goals were. And I know a lot of them looked at me like, what do you mean? And I was asking them, like, do you want to go to college after this? Do you want to win a championship? Like, what are your team goals and what are your personal goals? Because those are important to have, because you don't want to just be working with no goal to reach. And really just all season, we've just been really just reminding them the goal that they're trying to reach and the work that you're going to have to put in to get there. And I think that's why this season has been way different than any other season that's been here in National Park, just because of the mindset change, honestly.
The Nighthawk men have followed a similar story this year. Coach Dylan Hargrove, certainly a familiar face from the coaching side, but you also providing assistant coaching experience there. This is a team that was really hungry to do something phenomenal this year, and they've done a lot of things like that. They've taken down huge records for the school this year. They've won more games than this program has ever won in a single season, and they knocked out their first postseason win in school history as well, and are a strong favorite to compete for the title this year. What has it been like to be a member of this ride with these men this year?
First off, I would like to say it's just been a blessing just to be around so many high caliber basketball players with the men. One thing I know that I'm a firm believer in, you get out what you put in. So whatever work you put in, you're going to get that out. So with the guys, like, I feel like we put in a lot of work all the way from the off season. Like, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but we was up here every day for 6 weeks at 6 a.m. running on the quad, and then going from there to lift weights. And then after they lift weights, they got individuals with me the rest of the day type thing. So it's just been a grind, and I feel like the confidence that they got from the grinding so hard in the off season, like, it's just carrying over into the actual season. But those guys are hungry. Like, they was hungry before I got here. Like, everybody had the same mindset. We're going to try to win a championship, bring a championship back to National Park, bring a regional championship back to National Park, bring a national championship back to National Park. But one thing I try to tell them is everybody's saying that, so what are you doing different to set yourself apart from them? So we have guys always in the gym. Like, our guys are always in the gym. Like, they're shooting shots, thousands of shots a day. They're constantly hitting me up about, hey, Coach Reg, can we get in the gym and get some workouts in? So, the games, like, it looks fun and everything when we're winning and stuff, but they put in a lot of work before that.
Let's talk about where we stand right now. Both teams are in the Final Four. They're one game away from playing for that Region 2 championship, that goal that they set before the beginning of the season. For each of these two teams, Coach Rogers, what's it going to take to get the job done on Sunday?
I think with the men, our biggest issue from the last couple of games has been rebounding. We need to really attack the basketball and really try to limit the other team offensive rebounds so we can get more shots. With the women, it's total opposite. Like, we need to actually take more shots. Like, we're taking half the shots the other team is taking. So that's just all about being aggressive and being confident in the shots that we take. But I think if both teams can get over both of those things, then we'll both be in the championship Monday.
It's very rare to see someone in your shoes where you've been such an integral part of both teams this year. And what has that journey been like for you? What has this meant for you to be a part of both of these teams' great stories this year?
Actually, this is my first year actually coaching women. I've never coached women in Little League, high school, or anything like that. This is my first year actually getting to interact with women's basketball, actually. And I feel like with me being the women's and men's assistant, it was a bridge between both programs. Because, at a lot of schools, it's the women's program, and then it's the men's program, and then it's the women's going to do what they do, and the men are going to do what they do. And then there's always that question mark in between. But now it's like, if the women have questions about what the men are doing, I'll tell them. Or if the men have questions about what the women are doing, I'll tell them. Or vice versa. Like, if they're like, why do they get that? Why do they get this? I tell them why. And I feel like that the men's team actually helped the women's team in their mindset, because, like, I know earlier in the season, we had a college coach come to our practice. And the women were all like, we want college coaches in our practice. And I just flat out told them that our practices aren't intense enough. Like, you guys aren't very serious. So a lot of coaches would just leave it at that. But I told them to come to our practice, watch our practice, see how the men practice, how the men's practice is. And after they left, they told me it was very intense. Like, it was actually hard to breathe in there. It was so intense. And then from that day forward, their whole mindset changed, and I think a lot of times you don't have that. Like, the women aren't able to come to the men's practice, or the men's aren't able to come to the women's practice. But with me being assistant for both. Like it's that bridge in between there, and I think it's helping both teams.
There's a lot to be learned from just incorporating with the other program, for sure. Coach, congratulations on a great first year for Nighthawk men and women's basketball, and good luck on Sunday in the semifinals at Harding University.
Thank you.
Coach, is there anybody that you'd like to say hello to who may be watching?
I would like to say hello to my mother, my father, and my beautiful support system I have at home.
Coach Reggie Rogers of the Nighthawk men and women's basketball team. More on today's semifinal games coming up next. This is Nighthawk basketball on the Nighthawk Network.